golden hour or magic hour, that wonderful time around sunrise or sunset when the sun is low, the light is soft and warm. We all know that's the time to be out taking photos, don't we? But sometimes you just can't. For whatever reason, you have to come out at a different time of day, and I'm in that situation right now due to the COVID quarantine here. Sunsets are pretty much impossible to do, and sunrises are difficult unless I'm very close to home. So what do? Well, as always, there are options, and one of the options is to not do photography, or you can do what I'm doing today, and that's coming out and making the most of midday landscape photography. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you do, and you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Disclaimer, it's not actually midday, it's 10 to 3 in the afternoon, but considering the fact that sunset tonight is about 8:45, I think that's close enough to midday that I don't feel like I'm cheating too much. In fact, the sun is at its highest, or was at its highest, around about 1 o'clock time, maybe just a fraction before. So yeah, it's pretty much midday photography. Now, today we have got some high cloud, so it's not like we've got completely clear blue skies. And honestly, if I'm going to shoot during the middle of the day, then I'd probably prefer to have a bit of cloud around. That's not to say you can't shoot on, completely clear blue sky days, but the cloud helps because it will soften the light, take a lot of the harsh contrast and harsh shadows out. And it also opens up possibilities to get a little more creative with processing as well. I'm going to be out, 2 or 3 hours today, and I'm going to try to find a few examples of interesting images to shoot in the middle of the day. Possibilities include things like minimalist, maybe minimalist long exposure, detail close-up, maybe even macro, and anything else that happens to grab me while I'm out and about. So let's get on with a little bit of walking around and see what we can find. Okay, I kind of got a bit obsessed. I could see this little cove that I'm standing in here, and I could see there was these rocks and the waves breaking. Hey. But I couldn't find a way down to it. But I kind of got obsessed with finding a way down that wasn't risking life and limb, and I eventually got here. And I'm thinking there might be an image or two to be taken here, because we've got some quite nice waves, quite nice cliffs with all these lovely kind of textures on them. So I'm going to try to set up and do at least one shot from down here. But first it's a case of having a little look around and seeing what's going to work. Let's do that. So my initial thoughts was to try to do something with the rocks in the foreground and that cliff in the background, but I just couldn't seem to make it work. So I'm trying something else. What I've got is just this big rock in the scene. I'm sitting on some rock here that keeps getting periodically washed over with waves. Got the big rock in the center, and just below the horizon a lot of foreground, the rock, a little bit of sea in the background, and then the sky up above. And I've got variable ND filter on, letting me get, what have I got there? About a quarter of a second. I'm just waiting for some bigger waves to come in, so that I can try and get a nice load of wave action around the foreground. And I'm shooting high speed continuous just to try and capture the best of the waves. So down there is a big rock just out in the sea. I can't find any way to get to it from up here. I think it might be accessible sometimes from one of the beaches along there, but difficult to get to. But I thought I'd try a shot of it from up here using a telephoto lens and a variable ND filter. Just try and get some waves breaking around it, and maybe with some of the other rocks in the scene as well. So it's worth a go. So I'm shooting f/16 and 1 second, and then it's just a case of trying to time the shots so that they're hopefully producing a pleasing pattern. I've been looking out for flowers and things like that as I've been walking around, and I found a few, but mostly in quite exposed areas where they're moving around in the breeze. And this one isn't too bad, but it's still moving around a bit, but it's really pretty. And I thought I've got to try and get something of this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get a shot of the whole kind of stem of the flower, or the whole sort of section of flowers at the top, and then maybe 1 or 2 flowers isolated, and then a right in close up with the super macro facility on the lens. So I'll just try and show you what we've got there. So that could look quite pretty. Let's get the camera out and see what we can do. So starting off with just the normal mode on the camera. What I'll try and do is get down low, shoot it up. Of course, as soon as you go to shoot it, you get a breeze. Focus, stop moving. Get a little bit lower down. If I shoot it from too low down, you lose the detail in the flowers, unfortunately. Because it's moving, I'm using the high-speed continuous mode to maximise the chance of getting a shot that's in focus. Hopefully That'll do. Now let's see if we can get right close in. On just a couple of them. If I go to the super macro, I won't be able to fit them in. Stop moving, please. Gotta wait for the wind to stop. Always the way, wind blows when you don't want it to. Super macro mode, see what we can do with that. First I'll try and show you a bit of video of the super macro mode, if that will work. So getting in pretty close, you can see how difficult it is with stuff moving around. Okay, let's see what we can do with this. Okay, that's it. I think I'm going to head for home now. Have I managed any decent photos? I have no idea. Have I enjoyed being out and at least trying to make the most of some middle of the day landscape photography? Yes, I have. And that's really what it's all about, just enjoying it. I'll sign off. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a like, share it on social media. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. And if you have enjoyed this, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go if you're new here. And as always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. So thank you very much. And until the next video, bye.